Tom here from the Energy Update on Cymatic TV. I've got to show you where I am really. Let me just flip this around. Okay, so what you're seeing here is a lot of people watching the sunset, which is hiding behind the clouds over the Atlantic Ocean at this beautiful little chapel in a place called Bidart in the southwest of France. A really lovely place. There's a cross there, but the actual female energy is running through this church here at the moment. I say church, it is a chapel. The actual main church of Bidart is just down there, as you can well see. And that's the Pyrenees Mountains in the background. I hope you can see that. So, I'm on the move at the moment. As you can see, I'm down by the beach, which is a lovely place. And when the energy goes into the sea, it almost calms it, concentrates it. Let me just show you this little chapel. It's just a tiny little place. Absolutely lovely. Dedicated to the Virgin Mary. Yeah, and I'm just going to take you to a place where we can go through a little bit more sort of details without disturbing everybody who's sitting down there and watching that beautiful, calm, sensational view. You have to watch me for a second. How's it been? How's your week been? How's it been going on in the sun? Not a lot really. Nothing to do really at all. Definitely a quiet moment. There was some filament action and coronal hole, but nothing really to shout about. Now this is meant to be solar maximum. Yeah, it's more sunspots than were predicted, but nothing is hitting in the direction of Earth, which I suppose is a good thing, looking at the state of our magnetic field of this planet and how it's going through that pole reversal, which I went into a bit more detail in last week's Energy Update. If you haven't seen that, please go back and have a look at that. And yeah, we probably don't need rough space weather at the moment, storms, etc. But there literally has been very little in the way of vibration coming out of the sun, and that's put a bit of a calm on everything. And as it's calmed down, this is the sensation I'm getting, and you might want to comment in the description below, because obviously the more people we can get with the explaining what we're feeling in life, the better the explanation we're going to get. So it's like it's calmed down, and you can hear the human vibration a lot more. The human matrix. And the human matrix, there's something coming through that. There really is something bubbling up through the human matrix. And I'm talking about the human activity, the human vibrations, or the technology, or the way we do things, the somewhat convoluted, upside down, tipsy-turvy world of human morals and political and religious standpoints. There's something definitely brewing here. Maybe this calm is a time to allow the humans to let things out, so they, not necessarily they express, but they clear out, we clear out the last of our rubbish collectively, so then we can start fresh and anew with a new planetary vibration that is in the process of happening. Yeah, seems to be coming up through the human vibrations, human matrix, so keep an eye out for that. Let me just show you where we quickly are now. There, up there is the church, and you've got this line that actually runs down through. It runs off to there. But down here, look what you've got. You've got some. They've made some nice standing stones. It's obviously not Stonehenge, but it's someone's taken a lot of time and effort, and that's all to do with human rights. The ends of the Second World War in Europe, and it talks about, you know, freedom and peace, but in the same stone it will have fighting, you know, combat. So it's always very convoluted, the stories of human existence. There is a nice energy here. It's certainly one that's got a slight amount of peace to it. Slightly over-pressing though. These stones are obviously cut, and let me just show you one. It's a little bit. So there's that one there, and this is all to do with persecution, repression, internments, deportations, executions. It's obviously all to do with the Eshra, I think it's called, and that's all to do with exode, captivity, occupation, requisition, resistance, and evasions. And then over there you have the Declaration of the Human Rights. It's not that I'm not a fan of the human rights, but when you're living with nature and nature's rights, human rights seem pretty obsolete, really. You know, animals don't tend to go around killing other animals just because they can. It's the same thing in the plant world. It's about time humans worked it out. In this world, it shouldn't be a right, it should be just normal. You know, if you have to make something into law, then obviously something's going wrong. So we've got that chapel that's just up there. We're just going to get a quick connection with the energy. Very calm. It's only a small line here, very small line, very delicate. Okay, there's the connection that's coming through now. Let me just get into the sequencing. Okay, there it is there. Okay, so then it goes down to the lower sacrum, solar plexus and sacrum. Then it goes into the sacrum. So it is a solar plexus and the sacrum, but it's lower. And then it comes up more towards the throat. But it's almost like in the background, it's not in the foreground. Even then, in the third eye as well, it's all going on behind, not in front. That's a bit strange. Back to the sacrum. And that's the third eye now that's looking out in front. And then back to the start again. Plexus solus, or solar plexus, sorry, I am in France. Solar plexus, but it was the underbelly of the solar plexus, in a way. Very harsh. You know, it's like you get the yin yang in everything, and it's like, you know, the solar plexus can be absolutely brilliant, so can the heart, and the heart can be really jealous, it can be really horrible, as much as the solar plexus. Like everything has its yin yang factor going on, and there's that yin yang factor there on the solar plexus, and it feeds the sacrum really like really pointed, like almost like a like a sword going in. Yeah, and then it's sort of it runs up behind the back. Now, normally the energy sort of like flows. It actually flows out the front, comes out the back of the legs. Flows down the back of the legs, come out the front of the legs, flips back through there, comes back round, and then comes back down like that. So it's following that notion. It's almost as if it's as calm as that. Hang on a second, I'll show you what it's like. That's what it's like. Now that's the Atlantic Ocean. Normally this is a real big surf spot. You can't even see a ripple on that water at the moment. That's what it feels like. It feels like there's the undercurrent of the human solar plexus, which is really all to do with determination and courage and confidence and stuff like that. And it's maybe overconfidence in it. And this vibration that's more in the throat, that's lower, it touches a bit of the heart. It's real in between chakras this week. It's really weird. It's not hitting one perfectly, apart from the third eye at the end. And the rest of them have all been hitting between the chakras. And it's almost as if like it's that space between two pages of a book. It doesn't really exist, but it is there. And that's what it feels like. It's okay. Let's get the message from the earth as well. Let me just connect into that. That takes very quickly. Blimey. Time to take a good hard look at yourself. I don't think this is necessarily on a personal level, but it is. There's a factor where we look at ourselves personally. If we look at ourselves personally, then we can change. If we can change, then the entire world changes. And it's an individual responsibility. This is what it seems like, but I think there's more. I think it's more a case of that energy just sort of saying it's about time human collectively took a good hard look at themselves, I think. And funnily enough, it's playing on the kidneys as well, which has all got to do with as if like the energy's a little bit scared about what humans are going to do if we're going to do something stupid. So I guess this week here, I don't want to scare anyone because there's nothing to be scared about. Life is too important to live. Just live it. You know, it could end for everybody tomorrow, so don't worry about it. Just live your life. Live that joyous part that is within you. And so, you know, it's almost as if energy's waiting to see what's going to happen in the human matrix. So for this coming week, it would be good to sort of realise that we're in a transitional moment. Hey, I tell you what, this could well be to do with the solstice as well. Been travelling so much at the moment, moving house again, sorting out another studio, recording studio, which I'm going to be able to do a lot more of these energy updates or shorter ones during the week. And it's as if that we're in that transition between one phase and another, going from one state to another. And as we go from one state to another, that's where we have that moment where we can change things. It is that moment of calm where you can stop having to do one thing and then realise that you can do another thing. But in that space, you can actually then have that moment of clarity to actually define the line or the evident path that we should each of us be following, and that's all we should be doing. So when you feel that moment in the week where everything sort of stops or everything's contributing at the same time, it's the in-between times that maybe each of us can play with to make this a different experience. or to evolve the experience, to accentuate the evolution or understanding. There you go. It's a very straightforward energy update this week. Half of the reason is because of the place I'm in. I'm technologically down to next to nothing, which is really nice. I'm enjoying that. I'm travelling around, and that is the future in a way. So whatever you're doing this week, if you've got an opportunity to evolve things or change your path slightly or evolve, explore your consciousness, I would do it and see what's available. Okay? In the meantime, I guess, don't forget, life should be fun, so please do enjoy.